Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Deus Ex Mankind Divided Blind. Now, I just entered the offices of the TaskForce29 Global Anti-Terrorism Division, so let's explore that. It's like a bag scanner or something. Similar to those that they use on the airports. But apparently there's no one at security checkpoint.
A word of advice, stay off the Aug Rights web pages this week.
Maybe the connection is that there is no
What does that mean?
Everybody on the Pro-Aug forums has some kind of theory about the train station. Finding a signal in all that noise is going to be next to impossible.
Shooting range. Locked. Needs shooting range keycard. Okay, perhaps I can get it later. Aria Argento. Oh, that's a girlfriend of one of the people. He mentioned that he changed my password to the band that she... Can I just take those things? To the band that she was listening to, which incidentally I still don't know. Maybe I'll get access to it later. Read that already. Tuscany. Okay, I'm kind of overwhelmed by the size of this office, so I think I'll go into the side rooms first and then explore this big part in the middle last.
Listen up, team. What's our status? Where was that chopper headed?
I have 3 airfields in Qatar that are promising, but they're privately owned, and nobody can get close enough to take a look.
I got a whole lot of nothing. Every time I send someone to follow up on a lead, it turns out the buildings are abandoned, burned out, or bombed into rubble.
Jesus Christ.
Satellite footage has identified 3 possibles, but based on what the roads look like around them, I don't think our crashers would have chosen them.
Well, they were gonna take all those weapons somewhere. I want to know where now.
Weapons, huh? So, are they talking about the deal that went wrong in Dubai?
The problem is we don't know anything about this group.
Well, I'll take the pocket secretary.
I can't really talk to you now. I'm busy.
There was a code signal sent to the Dubai hotel minutes before our mystery guest showed up. I'm working on decrypting it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
A word of advice, stay off the Aug Rights web pages this week.
Now, let me read that pocket secretary I took. Storage shed. Snitch of mine who hangs out near Tech Noir. There's a storage shed in the courtyard, which might be where some of your Valley Leaf payoffs for the payoffs for their friends in the state police. So it's bribes from the gangs to the police. Gave me the code. Okay, might be useful at some point. Now, there's no way to get to the other room from here, so we need to go through here.
There was another attempt to breach our firewall last night. The reason I know it isn't the Juggernaut Collective who tried to hack us is that they gave up after only an hour.
Okay, this is locked. Now... Oh, there are different levels as well, man. This... Okay, first I'll guess I'll explore the first level. Psychologist. Interesting.
Yep. Next thing you know, after every mission, we'll have to talk to some bookworm with no experience in the field about our feelings.
You think one of them would pop
Who's
up on
Director
some
Miller's
list
thinking?
somewhere?
It didn't come from Miller. It came from higher up. Manderley.
Manderley?
You probably haven't heard yet, but TF29 now has an official psychologist.
Good to see you're okay.
You know who's been suspiciously quiet the last couple of days? The Collective.
I've been trying to ID the bodies of the people who crashed the operation in Dubai. Every mystery team corpse I've checked so far has been totally clean. Like, he never existed. Whoever these people are, they're damn good.
Well, to be honest, I think it's totally a decent idea to have an on-staff psychologist in a group like this, because obviously, as a military group, they are going to deal with a lot of stressful situations. So it would be pretty easy for some of them to like develop PTSD or other problems. So, like, okay, you can argue on the merits of the particular person they chose to do it, but the idea as a whole is totally sound to me. Oops, I didn't want to steal that actually. I wanted to read the newspaper, which I already read. But apparently this Delara Augen is not here right now. I do feel like reading her computer might be interesting. Nobody seems to be looking. So, what level is it? Security rating 5. Oh, wow. Okay, that's out of my league at this point. Forensics.
Everything's got pretty hairy in Dubai.
Ah, they were like that. They are. Huh. It's an interesting model. I imagine it's like interactive or something. They are testing the impact routes of the bullets and how it would result in the blood splatter or whatever. Which is actually something police already do. They just don't necessarily use freaking lasers and robots to do it.
Do the Jinn still believe what's being told them or don't? We need to know.
Save. Newspaper probably the same, yeah. What about the computer? Security rating 2. Okay, that's promising. But first, let's take a look at this ebook by Daniel Fletcher. The Long Meanwhile. Wait, that's the same guy, isn't it? So apparently he's also a writer. Wait, what? He's writing fan fiction about people he works with, because Delara Augen is the psychiatrist, and he's in this book. Sounds ominous. No, it sounds beautiful. I looked at myself in the mirror and approved. What? That was the second to last time I would have a suit tailored, and the last time I would ever see Martin Kobler, my master tailor, alive. So it's like a spy fan fiction about people he works with, which is like incredibly dorky and possibly kind of pervy. Like, I would feel weird if my coworker was writing fan fiction that involves me. Anyway, let's try hacking that. Okay, I don't think I can do it actually. Depends on how long the alarm is, because there are two capture points I need to capture. Well, I'll try it. I don't think it's going to raise the alarm if I fail, so...
Trace program initiated. Access granted.
Okay, that's good enough, I guess. Ah, and he was trying to... he was trying to get it published. The content is a little out of our comfort zone, because he's presumably perving on his co-worker. Różyczka train station. If you make things between us and the cops any worse, I'll have to let Miller know. And that's from inside. That's So he's somehow involved with the bombing, maybe. But that email comes from inside the task force, and is talking about the relationship between the task force and the police. Lunch. Okay, so he's been asking some girl out. Not necessarily that interesting. Women's bathroom. I wonder if you would get a unique comment if you went inside. Restricted security area, no admittance. Okay. For a second I thought the cafe itself is a restricted area with no admittance, which wouldn't make a lot of sense. But it refers to the map above. Okay, no vents in here. Huh. Okay, this looks interesting. There's literally a ladder here, and there I was wondering about it. This is the storage closet from before, right? Actually, no. I think this is a whole different floor. No, it isn't. It's a different room. I haven't been here. So, because a similar room with the safe was in one of the other parts I visited earlier.
Somewhere in this city, there's a mob-owned casino in the sewer. Now I've heard everything.
Well, I've actually been there.
Imagine you're a lieutenant in a crime family, and your boss sets you up in the sewer. I bet you'd be pretty pissed at him. Imagine you're a lieutenant in a crime family, and your boss sets you up in the sewer. I bet you'd be pretty pissed at him.
Okay, now the question is, can I hack this computer without anyone caring? Apparently I can.
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated. Access granted.
New psychologist from Miller. Starting next week, is going to have a psychologist in addition to providing mental health care. She'll be creating person of interest profiles and assisting in hostage negotiation. Yeah, that's another very useful use of a psychologist to have in such a unit. Actually, police have psychologists specifically for situations like that, or for example, for situations where somebody threatens to commit suicide or something. That's another. But it's perhaps less useful in a anti-terrorist group, because they wouldn't usually deal with that kind of situation, but it's definitely useful in a hostage situation. Okay, and this is the shooting range again, so I think I'm finally ready to explore this big area in the middle.
A word of advice, stay off the Augurite pages this week. Thanks.
Keep digging. If we want to catch Janus, we're going to have to get creative because nothing we're currently doing works.
Oh shit. The Vector Institute is one of the only places in the world that has smallpox samples. The police response to the attack wouldn't have been so extreme if they were better organized and less corrupt.
It'd be easier if someone would just step up and do it.
The information we have on the train station bombs isn't enough to go on yet, but we're getting more all the time.
87 dead, 256 wounded. Communication. USA.
Maybe whoever's in charge.
What is CAN? UK. Actions. Consult support.
Any trouble with the plant?
Patience, Alex. Trying to find the best way to access the motherboard without blowing my cover.
Sorry, man. Message received.
The connection is that there is no connection. A word of advice, stay off the
I keep running into the same person again and asking her the same questions.
I've been trying to ID the bodies of the people who crashed the operation in Dubai.
They are watching security cameras from around the city, I guess.
It's not easy piecing together surveillance footage from the train station. Some of it's scrambled in a way that can't be explained by physical damage. What are the chances we'll see the doer?
Lab says 20 minutes to confirm, but they're sure it belonged to the bomber.
You think one of them would pop up?
We're trying to locate where the crashers were going to stash those weapons you intercepted, but it's mostly guesswork.
It's gonna
In
take
the
them a
last
while.
2 days, web traffic in Prague has gone up 73%.
What is this? Like a model of the train station? Yeah, probably. Model of the train station for them to
You
analyze.
probably haven't heard yet, but TF29 now has an official psychologist.
Okay, can I just hack a computer that's in the middle of it? It seems weird to me that nobody seems to care, but security rating 1. Okay, should be okay with that.
Jakarta's no picnic right now, I'll tell you that.
There are 2 nodes to capture here, but it still shouldn't be that difficult.
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated.
Damn it, I missed. Frig. I'm going to...
Access denied.
Why didn't... because the direction... Frig. Okay, that's kind of annoying. I wasn't paying attention to that.
State police says they're still hauling out bodies. Dark days ahead. So weird. And a shitload of roads.
The last team walked straight into an ambush.
I'll run it through a few filters. See if I can take them a while.
Agent Wright, please report to your department. Agent Wright at our department. Agent Joy,
Jakarta's no picnic right now.
Anomaly detected.
Frig.
Trace program initiated.
But I still should have...
Access denied.
Okay, I think I'll take a break from that. Now, get to the upper floor. Where is the staircase located?
Things got
Around
pretty
here.
hairy in Dubai.
Adam, you're here. You made it in. It's good to see you're okay.
Hey, Aria, yeah, it was a close call. I got lucky. A lot of people didn't.
I was here working when the first reports came in. It was chaos. Phones ringing off the hook, people yelling, scrambling to find out what was going on. Then when Miller told me you were there,
I'm alright.
Good. You looking for him? Because he's tied up right now, in meeting with Lyon, I think.
Really? He's using the NSN right now?
Yeah, I just saw him. Oh, hey, that reminds me, here's yours.
What's this?
The card for the shooting range. Chang changed all the codes this morning, said something about only giving access to people he's vetted personally. The bombing really freaked him out. Third one in 6 months, can you believe it? I'm really glad you're okay.
Thanks, Aria. I'll let you get back to what you were doing.
Yeah, I better get back downstairs. It's gonna be a busy day. Come by later if you want to talk.
Copy that.
Okay. So I have the key to the shooting range now, which might be interesting in its own right, at some point. Okay, so those are like locations of the agents, maybe? Or that wouldn't make sense actually to display it like that. It's probably regional directors or something. NSN server room keycard. Yeah, I am looking for it myself, but this doesn't really tell me where it is. NSN servers restricted. Yeah, I don't have it. So I have to go and look for it. Director Miller.
I think Singh's got some kind of adrenaline addiction. He plays it too close to the edge.
He made it out of Dubai, didn't he?
I'm telling you, if it had been anyone but Jensen on the ground, Singh would be dead.
Well, you know what? I think you're right about that.
So he did survive at the very least.
First the Dubai mission and now the train station bombing. This is a week for the record books.
I've got to hand it to you for your role in Dubai.
Yeah, especially the dying and reloading.
Is combing the web for any hint of those mystery guys from Dubai. That's not really our area of expertise, but Miller wants these guys bad.
Duncan McCready. Ah, that's the guy that doesn't really like me that much, right?
Is there something I can help you with, Agent?
I hear you're on point looking into the gold mask mercs that hit us in Dubai. Any leads yet?
Christ, I know I'm good, Jensen, but I've only been on it for 5 minutes.
A lot can happen in 5 minutes, McCready. You checked with the ME yet? Get anything off the bodies we recovered?
Leftovers are on ice at the Oman substation. I've been told they were scrubbed clean as summer whites. No prints, no dental, no nothing.
So in other words, it's no steps forward and 2 steps back.
For now. That's why it's a good thing you disabled the Jinn's comms booster in Dubai. Singh's cover with the Jinn is still intact. I'm hoping once he's back in Basra, he can use his network to dig around. Maybe these gold masked jokers will ping locally. Probably another fucking jihad looking to make some noise.
I don't know. I'm not so sure we should be looking for these guys in the desert.
Ah, is that so? You have some new information you feel like sharing?
Come on, McCready. These guys were augmented with military-grade hardware. Body augmentation goes against Muslim beliefs.
Oh.
They weren't jihadists.
That's interesting to hear.
We're dealing with something new here.
I can see where you're going with this, Jensen, and I'm asking you right now to back off it. It's not your case.
Okay, antagonizing him might actually work because they have this kind of relationship. They're bickering a lot, but But I think this is a more reasonable approach.
Come on, McCready, we're not a couple of beat cops filling a monthly quota here. This isn't about whose collar it is. It's about getting the people responsible. Full stop.
Look, I get what you're saying, but I'm working a $5 investigation on 50 cents worth of shit. I've got speculation to spare, mate. Listen, I know I come off strong. I've got 3 ex-wives that'll back that up. But that's just how I'm built. Putting on a show for the new guys, I'm gonna change what's underneath.
I can appreciate that kind of honesty.
Good. So when I say I'm impressed with how you handled yourself in Dubai, you can appreciate that I meant it. With that sandstorm giving us colonics, stripping the juice box out the chopper was an inspired choice. But that mission is over, and your involvement in it ends now. Got it?
Well, I somehow doubt my involvement is going to end now, but...
Yeah. But tell me, why do you think the bodies from Dubai were sent to Oman?
Fuck knows. Rumor is that Oman was pissed that we got the green light for the gig in the first place. Can't blame them, really.
You don't think it's strange we got the call over them?
I stopped questioning the logic of the big noise a long time ago. What I'm told is we were the only team ready to go.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
So then you know what I know. That everything?
How the hell did you get such a sunny disposition anyway, McCready?
Knowing about me is not going to make us friends, Jensen. But I'll humor you. Fine. I joined regular army straight out of secondary school, made UKSF at 25 and was recruited into the SRR 4 years later.
Special Reconnaissance Regiment. That's an elite unit.
Oh yeah, it was very glamorous. All champagne and blowjobs.
So what happened?
After 12 years hunting terrorist shitbirds across every desert on the face of the earth, I found there was no fucking end to the evil this world churned out. I couldn't see the point in what we were doing anymore. So I quit.
So what brought you back to the life?
I suppose it was purpose. A tool without a job to do can only grow rust. So here I am, back in it, serving my purpose. As a tool yourself, mate, you should understand that, yeah?
Okay, that's kind of rough, but also he kind of strung it together, the previous sentence and the insult, in a kind of a creative way. I have to give him that.
Yeah, I got it. It was nice talking to you, McCready.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, anything interesting here? Like a pocket secretary I could read? Okay, if he allows me to... Yeah, that's what I thought. I can't hack his computer while he's there. Detroit crime code and vehicle law. I see he's a fellow fan of the laws of Detroit. And what's the magazine about? War-torn. I can't read it because it's too bright.
If we want to catch Janus, we're going to have to get creative because nothing we're currently doing works.
God, my eyes want to retreat into my skull.
Agent Singh. Wasn't expecting to see you again. In civvies, at least.
Just passing through. I wanted to thank your team for the backup in Dubai. That sting went to hell faster than the storm did.
You're welcome, but I don't think you came all this way to say thanks.
Director Miller asked me to get Agent McCready up to speed. Now I have the red-eye flight back to Oman.
Headed into the field office there?
Not exactly. One of our black sites. I'll be dropped in as a captured enemy combatant. After I contact my fellow Jinn prisoners, I shall lead a very convenient escape.
Re-embedding with the Jinn. Aren't you taking a big risk, given everything that happened?
No choice. That ambush knocked everyone on their asses. TF29, Bell Tower, the Jinn. To cover all the angles, I need to go back. Hopefully my cover is still good. You killing the signal booster at the hotel should help.
You're thinking the Jinn can get a beat on our gate crashers faster than TF29.
Perhaps. They do not like loose ends. An augmented kill squad with military training. Have you ever seen anything like it?
Yeah, once. But it's a long story. Whoever they were, they knew exactly when the deal was going down. Any chance they were based locally, in Dubai?
No. After the incident, Dubai became the world's most luxurious tombstone. Perfect for the Jinn, but for no one else.
I thought human augmentation was frowned on in the Middle East. Why was Dubai hit so hard?
Because it was another world. Two other worlds, in fact. One of extreme augmentations in gold or crystal, and one of thousands of workers outfitted for construction. Then, that day.
I know.
No, Agent Jensen, you could not. Some called it divine punishment. But that day was not the work of a merciful God.
Did we get anything out of the cleanup operation?
Mostly corpses. Heavily augmented, as you know. Under those gold masks, they were ID scrubbed. No prints, no dentals, no DNA match. Professional.
Could still be ex-Bell Tower. Plenty of men and material went AWOL after the incident. A competing faction that listened in on Shepard's sale.
It's a possibility. The audits and investigations of Bell Tower will go on for years before we know how many rats jumped from that ship. At least we recovered the weapons. Unlisted. High spec. Military-grade augmentation. Enough to build another couple of you. That is a joke.
Right. It's the world we live in. Anyone with an exemption to the weaponized augment ban is a useful tool. Or a terrorist.
So I guess that touches on an interesting thing I was thinking about. It seems you can indeed get like weapons built into your augmentations, but you need a special permit and stuff. Presumably only people with friends in high positions in the government, or people that are really, really wealthy to buy off the necessary people can afford that.
I don't envy what you've got ahead of you.
Actually, I'm looking forward to it. The truth is, when you've been under for long enough, you only feel like an imposter out here, in the real world.
Yeah, I understand the feeling.
One of them would pop up.
Okay.
First the Dubai mission, and now the train station bombing. This is a week for the
Og is here. Not sure what that means. This computer is on. Because this is mine. Wait. Is this pointing at me while I'm sitting at my desk and it says Og is here because it's me? That's kind of bullshit, if you ask me, but. Anyway, let me read my own emails. Shooting competition 3. Unlimited ammunition. I don't really care that much for target practice, but I would care for legally restocking my supplies. This is to address the recent mission in Dubai. We all know someone who died in that action. Actually, did many people die? Didn't look like it.
These guys might as well be ghosts.
When bombs exploded inside Rosika train station. I do not need to remind you folks that this is the third such attack to strike Prague in 6 months. All of them occurring after Dr. Dallas leader of the Augmented Rights Coalition,
Okay, whatever. This is an introduction from the psychiatrist. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Every agent has a high risk of exposure to emotional stress and potential trauma. Mental health is just as important as physical health, if not more. I do agree on that point. Europe is in order.
You'd think one of them would pop up on some list somewhere.
In the hands of irresponsible journalists. it can be. Underground websites and
Oh, interesting. So apparently,
You think one of them would pop up on some list?
apparently, he hasn't told them that he doesn't need neuropozyne, so they assume he's doing it because he tries to test himself or give it to others or is getting it illegally, but in fact he doesn't need it at all. But I wonder, why haven't he told them? Is he afraid they are going to cut him up to learn why is that? That's actually a pretty common motive in stories about like superheroes or supernatural creatures, where the government is trying to capture them and basically dissect them to learn what their secrets are and to replicate them.
These guys might as well be.
That's from McCready. I'll write it up myself. Guaranteed you won't look good in it. Which is weird for him to say, considering he did praise me just a minute ago. Okay, there's another computer here. Strickland Hall. Security rating 2.
I guess the transit authority isn't in as much of a hurry as you are then.
Okay, this looks like a reasonable enough path.
I've run DNA checks through all the alphabet agencies. Nothing.
There's only one capture point. Should be enough without any additional...
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated. Access granted.
I hate this. I really hate
this. Okay, ARC member in custody. State police arrested a woman named Irina Markova, trying to cross the checkpoint. ARC is the organization that fights for augmented rights, presumably.
Look, I'm going as fast as I can.
Oh, and she's getting transferred through here. Two local crooks. To Vincent Black.
One of them would pop up on some list somewhere.
He gave me two names. Vlasta, a Prague smuggler with a connection to that valley. Neon smuggler goes by the name Chernobog. Apparently they're having some sort of a turf war.
Details recovered from the black box recorder suggest that the man may have been suffering flashbacks to the AUG incident.
Okay. I must say, it weirds me out how everybody is seemingly okay with me hacking their computers while they're around. I find it pretty weird overall.
Composition could tell us a lot, but it's the trigger that really does the talking.
Vincent Black.
I just wish someone would nut up and take the blame.
Investigating that valley, I see, judging from the symbol. Now there's another computer to check here. But first, what is this about? Can't really read that because that's in Czech. Security rating 2. Okay, there are 2 access points here.
Anomaly detected. Access granted.
From Angela Rizzo. Human traffic confirmed. Oh, that's pretty serious. Are shipping unlicensed AUGs out of the Czech Republic. Leaving via unmarked trucks. Worse, if somebody desperate enough to deal with that valley can't pay enough, or nobody will miss them, Seems that Valley are happy to pocket what little they have and send them to third parties for labor, sex or spare parts. Pretty nauseating, I would agree on that.
I just wish someone would nut up and take the blame.
Okay, so what's this about? Pedro, my friend.
Negative. They're saying it was faulty wiring.
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated.
I'd love to get a look at the bond site myself, but
access
no
granted.
dice, not our show.
Vince's files. I need a possible info on a possible gun runner in the red light district, working under the radar of the Valley.
Not a probable target?
I heard about the guy at Valley are looking for him. As for Vince's files, he tells me he... as much as he tells anybody else, jack shit. I know he has a secret hiding place somewhere on site. Okay, that might be useful to look for. Locker. And go to the code for a storage locker near the office. To Pedro. Okay, shooting competition. Would that be... That isn't for this, because this is his personal safe. Yeah, right. It's somewhere near this office, because this was sent to this guy.
State police just arrested an augmented teenager who kicked the door of a police car.
I'd love to get a look at the bond site myself, but no dice, not our show.
This is so weird.
Alison Walchuk. Okay.
Is it or is it not a probable target?
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated. Access granted.
Good news and bad news. Quick message, I got a ping on that Wally cache. It didn't go to ARC. They sent it back home to Georgia. I need you to find someone, Joseph Shingeta. There were 4 hackers involved last night in a failed cyber attack on the Tai Yong vault in the Palisade. 2 are in custody, 1 fried his brain when the attack failed. Shingeta's the last and he's in the wind. Okay, this looks like something that might be important later on when trying to possibly break into the Palisade Bank myself. Oh, I found him. Okay, so he's dead, so apparently pulled his corpse out of the Sagami Bay. Fingers broken, eyes burnt out.
Composition could tell us a lot, but it's the trigger that really does the talking.
So I guess he won't be helping me anytime soon.
Second is a good soft chair.
Okay, good old murder board. It seems I can...
Hey, Agent Jensen, nice work in Dubai. But still, you know what I want to know is who those ogged up guys in the gold masks were. I'll be compiling all the case files, and as soon as I know anything, it'll be up on the board.
It seems I can ask about various things.
The classic Diwali structure has 2 spies, or Pakhans, working for the lieutenant who report directly to the boss, to make sure he stays the boss. Those guys are pretty violent.
Okay.
Ah, the Diwali called this guy Constantine. Like that's supposed to be intimidating, right? We don't have a last name for Constantine, but until his death in the Rizika bombing, he was a high-placed member of the Diwali crime family, answering to Otar Batkaveli. We suspect he has lots of connections in the upper echelons of the organization, all the way up to Radish Nikoladze and beyond. Between you and me, I suspect that he's a Pakhan, a spy that watches a Diwali lieutenant closely to make sure he doesn't make a move on the boss.
Interesting.
I don't even know where to start with theorizing percentages.
Oh, here we go. The Diwali crime family. As you may already know, they're one of the largest crime syndicates in Eastern Europe, but they do business almost everywhere, from Northern Europe all the way to the Middle East. After their humble beginnings in a coastal town in Georgia, the Diwali quickly moved from gambling to more lucrative criminal enterprises, till they found their specialty, smuggling, which includes human trafficking too. The Diwali can get anything to anywhere. It's as if borders just don't exist to them. but their rapid expansion came at the cost of their Georgian purity when they started incorporating an ever-increasing number of Russians into the group. If you ask me, I think a major power struggle is coming within the Diwali. One of the old versus the new, the past versus the future.
Okay, it's a little bit needlessly dramatic. Yeah, deceased, because it's interesting that it reports on it, but he is indeed dead, but I'm not even sure why, because I didn't kill him.
Purity First is an anti-aug group dedicated to keeping humans human, all pure, no augmentations. In their obsessive pursuit of this goal, they have taken extreme measures and are suspected of being responsible for multiple acts of breaking and entering, vandalism, and theft. On occasion, they've even become violent, being implicated in several assaults and murders as they push for their goal of human purity. They've been quiet since the incident.
Okay. Let's go this way, I guess.
This guy is the face of the Jinn and a charismatic force of nature. They call him the Bull of the North and the Heart of the Jinn. Real name Salar, works in conjunction with his cold and calculating brother, Wasim, who saved his life during the Aug incident. He is proudly augmented and parades his Augs around wherever and whenever he likes. The hatred of Augs from groups around the world has only emboldened him and his organization.
Okay.
I would have thought you'd had your fill of these guys since Dubai, Jensen. The Jinn, a group of smugglers led by twin brothers Salar and Wasim Alam. Their exact base of operations is unknown, but it's most likely in Muscat, Oman. The brothers Alam have been in operation since 2020 and have greatly expanded their operations since then, recruiting mercenaries, ex-military, nationalistic agitators, and other colorful criminal agitators from Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and the surrounding region. They deal in drugs, weapons, medical implants, Augs, and they occasionally throw in some human trafficking.
Okay, that's the Shepherd guy.
Our arms dealer Shepard, aka John Trent, is a former Special Forces commander and ex-Bell Tower operative. And as is typical for those ex-Bell Tower employees, he's been selling off old Bell Tower tech and weapons. But we don't need to worry about him anymore. He was killed by those gold mask guys in Dubai.
Composition can tell us a lot, but it's the trigger that really does the talking.
That's the brother.
Ah, Wasim Alam, the head of the Jinn, former limb clinic doctor and surgeon before he turned to more profitable enterprises. He brings the same cold and calculated approach he brought to saving lives to running his business with his brother, Salar.
Okay. And this is our plant.
Ah, Agent Singh, great poker player. I still owe him 100 credits. So I hope his incursion with the Jinn lasts another few months. You know, maybe he'll forget I owe him the money.
Okay. Now let's investigate the rest of the Diwali.
Ah, the elusive Radic Nikoladze. This guy's a piece of work, driven and ruthless. When he came up, he was the youngest boss in the Diwali crime family. The man spends more money on suits than most people spend on their houses. But don't let the looks and the haute couture fool you. He's the boss, he's in control, and he squashed more than a few people who've tried to take him down along the way.
Preemptive action would be great if we knew where to start.
Okay.
You know, I thought Otar was gonna go all the way. I think he had potential. But now he's just another casualty. It's too bad, in a way, you know? There aren't enough of these classic gangsters around anymore. People have respect for tradition, even if it is criminal tradition.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't want for him to die, and I think I'm still like adamant that I didn't kill him. I'm pretty sure he was killed in the crossfire by his own men.
You think one of them would pop up on some list?
Venom, Otar's former number 2, now deceased. Another one bites the dust, I guess. Good riddance, I say. There's always too many petty crooks out there.
Okay, so this is this part of the board.
You know as much as I do about these guys. They're augmented, well-trained, and very dangerous. And they seem to be massing weapons and Augs for some sort of attack. We don't know what yet.
DNA checks through all the alphabet ages. Nothing.
You've heard of these guys. ARC, or the Augmented Rights Coalition. They're a human rights group who, on the surface at least, is trying to provide equal rights for augmented people. It was started by Dr. Talos Rucker, soon after the Aug incident when Rucker started to speak out against the anti-Aug legislation that was being passed by several local governments. If you ask me, it's not working. Things seem to be getting worse. ARC preaches non-violence, but a string of terror attacks has put them on the terror watch list. So I'll let you be the judge.
Well, I guess this is probably going to be one of my major plot points, I feel like. Follow the money. Palisade connection.
Dr. Talos Rucker, former limb clinic doctor and current leader of the Augmented Rights Coalition.
Preemptive action
Rucker
would
has
be
chosen
great
to
if we
leave his
were
native
smart.
Germany and to live in the Utilek complex near Prague as a protest to draw attention to the upcoming Human Restoration Act vote. Rucker is a pacifist and believes that what is happening in Prague is what will happen all over the world if the Restoration Act becomes law.
Okay.
I'd love to get a look at the bomb site myself, but no dice, not our show.
What about... It seems this is not yet filled. I can't really... It seems to repeat the inquire about ARC. Well, I'll try it anyway.
You've heard of these guys.
Yeah.
ARC, or the Augmented Rights Coalition. They're a human rights group who, on the surface at least, is trying to provide equal rights for augmented people. It was started by Dr. Talos Rucker, soon after the AUG incident when Rucker started to speak out against the anti-AUG legislation that was being passed by several local governments. If you ask me, it's not working. Things seem to be getting worse. ARC preaches non-violence, but a string of terror attacks has put them on the terror watch list. So I'll let you be the judge.
Okay, I'm actually very interested in learning more about this Samizdat. Our alternative is the truth.
Samizdat is an underground news outlet that likes to think of itself as the real news. They are anti-establishment and anti-almost everything else, including business addresses, so we like to keep our eyes and ears open for any mention of them.
Okay, that didn't tell me much.
Is it or is it not a probable target?
Church of the Machine God?
Here we go, the Church of the Machine God, and to some, the Church of the Machine, without the God. And then again, to others, the Singularity Church of the Machine God. This group has so many names and subgroups, it's hard to keep track. And believe it or not, they've been around in one form or another since the early 1970s. There are a lot of contradictory reports on who they are and what they want, but in general, they all want the same thing. They want to merge their consciousnesses and become one with the Machine God through a ritual they call Ascension. The Church of the Machine God has a leader, but all we know about her at this point is that she's a woman, and they call her Mother. That's creepy, right? I think that's really creepy.
Yeah, it is kind of creepy.
There's a rumor that the Church of the Machine God is building a machine that will help bring forth the Singularity. Sure, I guess that's a possibility. I'm just not sure what they would plug that machine into.
Okay, now Janos.
Janus. I mean, what can you say about him? Or her. Nobody really knows who or what Janus is. But what many believe is that Janus is running the most dangerous hacking group in the world, attacking corrupt politicians and businesses on a global scale. The corporate world is terrified of Janus.
Yeah.
Preemptive action would be great if we
What to say about the Juggernaut Collective that isn't speculation. A bunch of their members were running operations out of Montreal in 27, resurfacing for a while in 28. You heard of the Rifleman Bank Station? Bell Tower? Anyway, the Collective is a group of hacker activists, or hacktivists. Oh my god, I hate that word. Dedicated to the cause of freedom. At least that's what they say, or what their actions appear to say. They fight corruption by exposing hypocrisy and protecting the unprotected. No one knows the real power structure inside of the Collective, but there is one name that echoes over the darknet, and that name that echoes even louder than Hex, and you can talk to Peter Chang if you don't believe me, that name is Janus. And some say Janus runs everything, while others think there is no Janus.
Yeah, I myself am squarely in the there is no Janus category. Oh, NSF.
The New Sons of Freedom, or NSF, is a small group of militant constitutionalists and secessionists operating in the continental United States, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. The group was formed as a reaction to the American government's increasingly authoritarian regime. NSF is committed to fighting the influence and control of a group of unknown people they believe to be the Illuminati with strategic guerrilla warfare strikes. They are suspected of having ties with Janus and the Juggernaut Collective.
Okay, I really like this this murder board, conspiracy board. I really hope it's going to get updated as the game progresses and maybe offer me some new info. I really liked it.
The problem with a collective is that they've branded themselves as online Robin Hoods.
Composition could tell us a lot, but it's the trigger that needed.
Okay, another computer, Benjamin Scott.
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated.
This is so weird.
Access granted.
Were smashed in the explosion.
Search warrant. Manage the search warrant for the internet cafe. Don't tell anybody your suspicions that Janus contact a local operative there. They won't accept that because
Run DNA checks through all the
Okay.
outlets.
I got the warrant by pretending the suspected contact is connected to ARC. Stay on Yanis. And shooting competition again. It seems everybody got that
Venus
email.
relies on public perception.
Jensen,
Ah.
we need to talk.
Okay, we did do, but first let me hack this. Selena Carter.
No, that's not consistent with the train station cameras.
I'd love to get a look at the bomb site myself, but no dice, not our show.
Okay, how many capture points? Just one.
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated.
What I hear is the explosives were designed to get maximum strength.
Access granted.
For crying out loud.
And drop off locker.
Preemptive action would be great.
Don't want to spook them, the current code. Okay, so code to that valley drop-off might be useful once I come across it. I'm not going to remember the exacts of it, and it isn't even stated where it is, but apparently Jensen will know and it'll show me the code here on the right. And now that I have it, from J. Carter, I'm licensed again.
You'd think one of them would pop up on some list somewhere.
You know state police aren't above profiling.
All they had to do was change the designation of my legs. Oh, so he's augmented, he has augmented legs, and apparently probably he's a soldier. Shipped to Afghanistan in 10 days. Looks like your favorite cousin is back to fighting the good fight. NSN diagnostics. I changed the keypad. Okay, so this is definitely useful because I need to get to the NSN to plant the plant. Let's talk to this guy.
Jensen, we need... My God, Jensen, I heard about the explosion. We should relocate. I was thinking we could corner Director Miller together. Tell him it's not safe enough here.
We're fine, Chang.
The police station, the train station, we're next. I can feel it. I can more than feel it. I can see it happening.
No one knows where we are. There's no reason to get paranoid.
That's where you're wrong. They're trying to pull the lid off of us, Jensen, or someone is. Praha Dovos just got hacked.
Our building's front company. Thought it was fake.
I wish it was fake. Miller's got me cleaning up IntelliCam footage from the attack to help figure out who these people are. Meanwhile, maybe they're trying to figure out who we are? Why else poke into an import company?
You think someone's figured out that the company's a front? Maybe they know what's really down here.
We have a lot of enemies. The people who bombed the train station. You don't think they'd love to know where we are? You need to help me figure out who's looking into us and make them stop.
Sure, but first tell me more.
I'm gonna need more information about this snoop of yours.
I don't know for sure that our cover's been blown, but if it has, we need to know before our enemies have a chance to do something about it.
You really think there's a risk here? Maybe someone's just poking around the fake website of a fake company.
If someone points a gun at me, I assume it's loaded. If someone hacks into the website of the company that serves as our cover, I assume they're doing it for a bad reason. Such as? Everything depends on who they are and what they know. But we're in the business of dealing with terrorists. If those terrorists find out where we are...
TF29 likes its privacy.
Sure. More importantly, Chang likes being in one piece. Unlike you, I don't just brush off explosions.
You got an MO in this hacker?
At first I thought it might be the Collective.
But you're not convinced.
Not Janus's style to leave crumbs this big. But whoever it is, they risk exposing us. If the Collective ever found out where we operate... My God, Jensen.
Maybe Janus knows already.
Hey, don't say shit like that. I get nervous enough as it is.
What can you tell me about our front company?
Praha Dovos was designed to be forgettable. The kind of place you walk by 100 times and still can't remember.
It obviously caught someone's attention. What happens if we're compromised?
My guess, we dismantle and disappear. Agents go into hiding, director burrows into some hole, poof, no Christmas party.
Okay, obviously I am going to help him.
I need you to find out as much as you can about our Snoop. Make sure we're not in danger.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, you have any leads?
I traced our hacker Snoop to an unrented apartment. Top floor, 33 Hlavny, just down the street. This guy walks by us every single day. Probably walks in.
You're kidding.
See? You feel it now. The constant buried alive feeling. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought we were supposed to be suspicious of things that go on outside these walls.
It's never that simple.
Just get into that apartment, access the computer they used, and find out what you can. And be careful, Jensen. We don't know who we're dealing with.
I'll look into it. As soon as I know something, so will you.
Now, I find it kind of hilarious and ironic that at the same time as this guy is asking me to investigate a potential breach of security, I myself am planning to breach the security by plugging in a listening device in here. I should... Oh, I still don't have the key card to this, but there is... shouldn't be one more level? It says here there is, but maybe you can only access it from a particular part of the building. Counter-terrorism, McCready. Yeah, I've been everywhere here. I can't go into the director's office. Okay, I'll go into the shooting range because I need to find the keycard to the NSN. Oh, there's a vent here. Well, I guess that could be useful. But this episode has been long enough, so I'm going to save here and actually end it. That's all for this one. I will see you in the next one. Bye!